Hey everybody, welcome to the MMA Heat podcast. I'm Karyn Bryant.
And I'm Pete Cummins.
He's also known as the high old guy, but you're not high today, are you, Pete? He's never high. This is the thing I want to share with you. Got a great show coming up, but first I need to celebrate something. This is, he's not high today, but he's going to be in a second. It's our 40th show, our 40th podcast. In honor of that, what does a girl do but bring in some 40s for her crew? So for Wade, because Wade is just a good old American dude. I got Wade a 40 of Budweiser.
Nice.
And for you, Pete, I had to go with the Miller High Life, of course. And for me, since I'm the original OG, I went with the Old English. To be honest, I wanted Colt 45, but they didn't have it at this particular 7-Eleven or whatever. Should I pour out some for my homies who can't be here? So cheers to the MMA Heat podcast. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Look at you. It's his first time drinking. Let me tell you what's fun about this is rolling up into a place on a Monday afternoon and picking up 340s. Anyway, good show for us. We are gonna, I'm actually gonna hit pause on our timer because I need a little extra moment here to tell everybody what we're doing here. We have, are you okay? We're going to talk about UFC Fight Night that went down in Poland. So we'll talk about Cro Cop's win. We're also going to talk about World Series of Fighting that was happening this past weekend too. There was also a Bellator show. We're going to hear from Clay Guida, who is going to talk to us about Ringwalks. We all know that Clay, basically his brother, beats the crap out of him right before he goes into the octagon. So we're going to talk to Clay about that and then what's going on in High Five.
Well, I believe that you landed an interview with
Hi, take the cap off.
Okay, hold on. Weren't you just giving me grief saying first time drinking?
Wow.
Please make that a meme, do something to that. That was classic.
This is going to be a fun show.
That was classic. That was, I don't think I'd said 3 words the entire show. And you managed to just bring that full circle back.
Round one.
Okay. Wow, this is going to be fun. So yeah, Mirko Cro Cop and Gabriel Gonzaga had fought in 2007. At the time, you know, Cro Cop was famous for right kick hospital, left kick cemetery. You know, you just don't mess around. Head kicked everybody. He got Cro Copped. Okay, so that was the whole thing about the first time. And so this rematch, long time coming. Going into this, thought Gabriel Gonzaga was going to win this fight. He's younger. He's, you know, been doing better. He's got great ground and pound. He has all the, you know, the tools to be able to beat an aging fighter like Cro Cop, who, let's be honest, hasn't looked amazing in all of his last fights. So the first 2 rounds went exactly as I thought they would, with Gonzaga all over him. And then that comeback in round 3, elbow, smash, smash, smash.
He added a new tool to his toolbox. I mean, he's a 40-year-old fighter who's just suddenly coming out with these elbows.
And he's not a fan of elbows, too. Prior to the fight, you know, he's talked about how he doesn't believe they should be there because, you know, they're dangerous.
They seem to adapt it pretty well.
Apparently, yeah. So, and it was funny. I don't know how you felt watching this, but, you know, I've been to a few Cro Cop fights, and there is that that nostalgia, that feeling of like, I don't want to see him get beat up. You know, it's Cro Cop. It's come on, man. You know, and those first 2 rounds, you know, he's almost getting leg locked, and you know, Gabriel's doing everything we knew he was going to do, and I'm like, this is going to end poorly, and this sucks that it's happening in Poland in front of the European crowd.
And not only that, it's Gabriel, he's like 250 pounds and just like a hairy chest on your face.
Yes.
That's the last thing
That's
you
the
want.
last thing. So that was really entertaining to see Mirko come back. Listen, I don't know how many more fights, you know, the guy has, and in a way, maybe it's a revitalization. I don't know. I'm kind of glad to have him back and looking. For that minute, he looked good. I mean, let's be honest, though. He looked pretty not great the first couple rounds.
And he was pretty winded afterwards. You know, I mean, they were trying to interview him. You know, he's just like, I mean, you know, the guy's 40 years old. He should be playing like, you know, a set of 2 of tennis now.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe a 9-hole.
Maybe, but you know, the other exciting fight on there. I mean, there were some good scraps. Was the women's fight that was on the main card there with Joanne Calderwood, and Marina Moroz. So of course JoJo comes in a minus 900 favorite. Okay, JoJo was on Ultimate Fighter. You know, she's been, you know, she was undefeated before that, 9-0, and she's, you know, people really think she's really good, and she just comes in there like she's supposed to win this one, and then it's basically setting her up for a title shot. Like coming, that's my arm. Oh, I'm tapping. Oh, I'm
Here's what.
no longer undefeated.
Listen, if I start learning mixed martial arts, the first thing I want to learn is an arm bar. Because anyone who's an arm bar specialist, even though everyone knows they're an arm bar specialist, like, I mean, I think she submitted 5 out of 6 opponents now. Like, and you know she's an arm bar specialist.
Right. So be prepared.
Be prepared. Like Ronda Rousey, you know she's an arm bar specialist, and yet they do it every time. So learn an arm bar. If you learn one thing, learn an arm bar.
Learn defense. Well, that's the thing. JoJo clearly doesn't have a lot of, doesn't have a great ground game. You know, she's a good striker. I think that she needs to work on the ground game, and hopefully this will be a learning thing for her. What was awesome though was Marina crap talking the champ.
The Conor McGregor. She's Conor McGregor.
And Joanna's like, bring it. Like, I don't even. I'm not worried about. You know, it's fun because I like Carla Esparza a lot, but I think Joanna is going to be a more marketable champion in that she'll start a fight ringside, whereas I know that Carla probably wouldn't have done that. She's a little more ladylike. I think it's fun. I think Marina needs to slow her roll a little. I don't think you get a title shot quite yet. You know, everybody's calling for the title shot after one win.
Listen,
slow down.
Do it. That's what Conor McGregor did. He started talking title shot way early. And
but I mean, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Marina fights somebody who does have a ground game. Like, I'd like to see that first.
Right.
You know, but Joanna's a great striker.
But Marina is a great striker. She's a great boxer.
But how much did we see?
And an armbar specialist.
But how much striking did we see? We didn't see her go that long. We've seen Joanna pull a full fight where she's wrecking girls. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not anti-Marina. I'm just saying,
Johanna's going to hold the title for a while.
I know you think that. I think the division is going to be exciting, and you know, Paige and Felice are fighting this Saturday at UFC on Fox, so that'll be fun. So anyway,
now,
fun times in Poland.
I do have to talk about the 2 announcers.
Oh,
the two British British
what's
guys.
wrong with Dan Hardy?
They
Don't
crack
mess
me
with
up.
my Dan Hardy.
Hold on. First of all, these guys crack me up. I just have to. These guys talking, and John goes, I'm not sure if either of them has faced, you know, he's talking about the goals. If either of them has faced another fighter that has that same kind of vertical superiority. And then Dan goes, oh, I like that, John. Very nice.
While he's sipping his coffee tea, cage side.
And then John goes, he means every one of his strikes. And Dan goes, every one of his strikes is mean, is what I think you meant to say, John. And then John chuckles, we love a bit of wordplay. I'm like, where the hell are you guys? Did you walk off the cricket field? What?
I like that. Just kind of like how I used to like Dennis Miller calling football too. But maybe
those guys look like how did we just sneak into this show?
No, Dan Hardy is a legitimate great fighter. He's a lovely guy too, wonderful guy. Round 2. Okay, so speaking of announcers, though, you weren't. World Series of Fighting in Bellator also took place this weekend.
Don't get me beat up.
No.
Don't get me.
But you had some problems with the commentating. I'm sorry, I totally just threw you right under the bus. Never mind.
I think Renzo is a great fighter.
Yeah.
Probably not the best commentator. I think his heart's in it. Give him credit that English is his second language. Yes. So, but you know, no, not the best.
Not the best.
Better than I could do, I'll say that.
Right.
But,
all right. Well, let's talk about the fight then. Phoenix Jones.
He's not in Los Angeles anytime soon.
I don't believe so. But there are Gracies very close by, so they might put out the Gracie sign up in the sky.
Because that's really the family I want to start a war with, right? The Cummins throwdown.
I've tangled with. Well, anyway, that's a story for another time. That's a story for the bottom of the Old English, Pete, and it's also not for the camera. Are you drinking your bud?
I am.
Yeah, okay, it's Merkin. Donald Cerrone will be very mad at you if you don't drink your beer.
Taking care of business, Donald.
TCB. So, Phoenix Jones, also known as Ben Fodor, did not win. He's a super.
And,
I need to know what you feel about this. This guy, you guys know, he's a just a fighter guy, and he lives in Seattle, and he's part of this crime-solving, the Rain City whatevers, and like legit goes around town with it's kind of like the Guardian Angels in New York is what I equate it to, trying to be like a superhero, but he's also trying to fight. I'm just curious your take on that.
Here's my take on that. If you want to fight crime, might I suggest you join the police force?
That's outrageous, Pete.
Putting on a costume is something that my 9-year-old twin boys would think of. Sometime around, hopefully 11 or 12, they would start realizing that's not a particularly good idea.
Yeah.
Part of me loves it because it's like, how do you have the balls?
Yeah.
First of all, can you imagine like the first time he showed his friends, like, hey, check it out. So listen, I got this cool suit, and I'm gonna wear it around, and I'm gonna stop crime, and they're like, do you want to reconsider that?
I know, and I would say that that's kind of a birth control outfit, though I do know he already has a child. I'm not sure the timing of that, because usually you are absolutely not getting laid when you walk around in a superhero costume like that.
Except at Comic-Con, maybe.
Yeah, yes. At Comic-Con.
Now, has he... So, I was reading Wikipedia, and I guess he's foiled. Foiled, isn't that what you say when you're a crime fighter? You're foiled. He's foiled a few, like, carjackings.
Yes, apparently he's been effective. He and his bandy group of crime fighters have stopped some things, but he also has been on the wrong side of the law where he's gotten arrested. But I guess no charges have ever really been placed against him.
Of course he's been effective, because the guys just start laughing all of a sudden. They're like, there's that moment where you start to giggle, and then he can capitalize on that, which the police don't have. They don't have the giggle moment.
Yeah, I like the altruism of trying to help people, not get attacked or whatever.
But you need to wear a costume.
I don't.
That's where you start to say, this is more for me than for you.
Yeah, and what I would like, if in terms of powers, he needs to somehow ask the universe for a ground game, because my man was on his back a lot.
I'll tell you who I always felt sorry for in the superheroes. Aquaman.
Why?
Because somewhere in the 1900s, they then invented scuba gear.
And everybody.
And it's like, hey, I can swim underwater. Yeah,
So can I.
I just got Patty certified, so I can do it too.
I'm good too.
Hey, I can communicate with whales. Yeah, we pretty much killed off about 95% of them. So, what can you do, Aquaman? You know what you can do? You can get us and the other superheroes a drink.
Nice. What did you think of Nick Newell? I've interviewed Nick Newell before. He is I tell you what, it's amazing. He's got great submissions. He came very close to getting another submission. He has 1.5 arms and has never let it stop him. I think it's amazing. What?
I just like how you said that very seriously. Like, he has 1.5.
He does. Well, because some people like to go, oh, Nick Newell's only got one arm. No, he doesn't. He has more than one.
I think the tail of the tape, should have said, age, height, weight, arms, 2, 1.5.
Pete.
Now, here's what I can say about that. It was what I was like,
round 2's over. We can
okay. First of all, what can you say? How inspirational is that?
It's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. People have asked if he would ever get signed to the UFC, and Dana, has basically said the same thing, like how much respect he has for him. But he says, the guys in the UFC are certified killers. You know what I mean? Not to disrespect the success he's already having where he is fighting, but he's like, I don't think we would sign him. Although, he also said he never was going to sign women, so who knows?
It's tough though for the guys he fights, because that's a lose-lose situation.
Not really. He's coming in as a man. Like, if you beat him, you beat him. I know what you're gonna. I know,
but if you beat him and you start telling your friends, like, yeah, man, I really crushed this guy.
But he's got a good record. He's beaten a lot of people.
I know, and I bet all those people kind of went home and and was like, okay, well, okay, why don't we not just talk about the fight? Let's just
Round 3. Let's hear from Clay Guida about what.
I do want to say that, all joking aside, so impressive. So impressive that the guy fights.
And he's a lovely guy. I interviewed him at one of his shows a while back here. It's worth looking at on my channel. He's a good dude, overcoming obviously a really awful situation and making the best of it. So.
Every gym he's ever walked into, everyone's gone, no.
Yeah, and then he submits him and submits him and submits him. So I think it's great. I think it's great.
He can't be a crossing guard, yet he's a fighter, which is amazing.
So anyway, again, like I said, we're going to hear from Clay Guida, and because
you have to have one arm, and then you wouldn't have the other arm to tell the people to come over. you know, I mean, you know, you have to say stop, and then you just sort of do the head wave.
We get to make our own rules here on the show. I talked to Clay Guida the other day. I do have a full, almost 30-minute interview with Clay as well. Such a cool dude. That we will be sharing on our YouTube channel. So I talked to him about ring walks, how his brother beats the crap out of him, what he's thinking of during his ring walk. He went over a little bit over his 5 minutes of his round. So we're gonna just kind of mesh rounds 3 and 4 together right now, Pete. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, no, I think Clay Guida talking about his ring walk needs to be a multi-round, sort of like a docu-round drama type of thing. I have no idea what.
Okay, folks, we're gonna
12 ounces of Miller High Life, and I'm just spewing.
Clay needs give a little something. This is ridiculous. Let's hear from Clay Guida. Oh, turn. So, Clay, you're famous for your, well, I don't know if the whole ring walk, but the slapping before you actually enter the cage. And the last fight before Robbie Peralta, it seemed extremely violent to me. What's the origin of that?
I don't know if I'm famous for it. I think my brother Jason is more famous for it. All the frustration I caused him in the cage and in the locker room and in camp, he gets to take that out on me a little bit. But, you know, that was just something we started when I was training back home in Tinley Park at Gilbert Grappling, and Joey Gilbert would crack him, and Danny Gilbert would crack him, and then they would hit me, and then my brother was in my corner a lot, so he got to take over the reins, and you know he would hit me pretty good. And then you guys have seen some pretty intense ones, and you know these camps that we've been at, like Coach Winklejohn would like take Jay in the corner, you know, during fight week, or take him in the locker room and be like, you know, ease up a little bit on him. You know, he's got to go, you know, get hit in the face in a little, you know, 30 seconds later too. But I tell you what, it just gets me going, you know what I mean? It reminds me that it's just an old school wrestling match, you know, just with kicks and punches, and you might get to choke a guy too if you're lucky. So it's just a brotherly love, you know, and getting that right mindset, knowing it's go time. You know, this is our house, this is our stage, that's our concert. You're the lead singer. Go out there, take the mic stand, and break it over his head. You know, go out there and have fun, and you know, realize that this is what we do. We get paid. It's not about the money. It's about the competition. It's about the love of the sport, and just, you know, it's such a pure sport.
Well, it's funny because I was watching it in the green room at work the other day, and Kenny said something like, "Okay, let's watch this. We all know it's coming." But your brother has like ham hocks. Like he's a big dude, and I was like, "Wham! What? Jesus Christ!"
I've had some. My ears have rang a few times afterwards, and sometimes you like see me leaning towards him, where I like want to grab him so I can kind of slow his hands down a little bit, and I'll hug him mid slap just so he stops hitting me. So I hope he's watching. I hope he sees this. Like, dude.
Lighten up on your brother. Right. And you are obviously also known for your very high energy. You know, you've been known to do push-ups and take laps after the fight is over, 20 minutes later, whatever. Have you always just been an energetic guy? Is that something? Do you really, honestly, at the end of a fight, still have that much energy in the gas tank? Oh,
I feel great. I mean, people ask me all the time, how do you fighters ask me, competitors, up and comers, fans, well, how do you never get tired? I said, it's pretty simple. If you get tired in 15 or 25 minutes, you're in the wrong sport, because this guy is trying to take your head off. This guy's going to try to take your head off. You're going to get hurt. That's, to me, not having all the skill and athletic ability that a lot of my opponents do, I have to make up for it with always being ready and being, protecting myself. So that's the easy part, where a lot of jiu-jitsu may come easier to some, striking may come easier, wrestling, the conditioning, just being energized, realizing I get to go out there and do what I love for 15 or 25 minutes. My dad is always, very energetic, he gets to kind of babysit my mom at the fights, and make sure she doesn't lose her mind. So I think I get the energy, a lot from my dad, just, blue-collar guy working 2 or 3 jobs as we were growing up, but just having fun out there. And my brother's like, dude, you're bouncing around after the fight. Take that and just put it into the put it in the fight. I'm like, I'm trying, dude. Like I can't satisfy him no matter what I do. But that's why he demands a lot out of me too, and that's my big bro. He got me in the sport. So just going out there and being able to do what we love and our health and just being blessed, and it's just fun. I don't know how people can get tired.
Well, it's funny. Actually, MMA HEAT stands for Heart, Endurance, Aggression, and Technique. A lot of people don't know that, and you're actually a great symbol, a manifestation of all four of those elements. So I think that's fantastic. Yeah, you are. When you walk out, though, some guys, when they walk out on their ring walks, they're like, I got this. I'm going to wreck this guy. And other guys will admit to them, they have told me that they're going, am I ready? Am I good to go? So honestly, when you're walking out, what's your thought?
That's a very good question and very common one, too. People ask, what's the most intense part of the fight? The fight? I'm like, the fight's the easy part. After 30 seconds in, it's just a wrestling match. To me, the most intense is the walkout. I mean, it's awesome. Like, there's so much going through your mind. You're thinking of your family. You're seeing friends in the crowd. You're pinpointing people. Your mom. It's like you see fans from a long time ago. You see other fighters in the crowd going nuts. You know what I mean? And there's a lot going on. The music playing. There's 15, maybe 20,000 people cheering. Some are booing, whatever. But that's why I think it's so cool when you see BJ Penn or Frankie Edgar. They sprint out there. They're like, let's get this. I want to soak it up a little bit, but sometimes I do just want to run out there, run in the cage, or just get back to the, get back to the locker room, get back to the hotel. But I try to soak it all in, and I realize those people, they paid big money. Yeah. And I'm going to produce for them. I'm going to perform. I'm going to do my best because they've earned it. They took time away from their family. They took time off of work. A lot of them flew in from all over the country, all over the world, all walks of life, and the least we can do is do our best for them. So that's my stage. I say it all the time. That's my concert. I'm the lead singer. I'm the sound guy. I'm the drummer. I do it all. I'm the band manager. I'm the tour manager. I'm going to set the stage, and I'm going to give those people what they want, and that's just a great fight and a great competition.
Come on. I love Clay. He's solid, and I love. And as you see, we're in round 4 now, folks. I love how he really understands, what the fans want, what we're looking for, and that he wants to deliver that. I think it's great.
And and he's got a lot of respect for the fans, saying they took time out of their day.
It costs money.
They paid a lot of money. That's very cool.
Yeah, it is. But his brother beats the crap out of him. Like, this last time was really, really violent. And I get that, you want, like a warm up because you're about to go get punched a heck of a lot more. But I don't want, like, tender caresses. But I want like.
But your ears shouldn't be ringing.
That's really quite soft. I think that might be the first time I've ever felt your beard. Now he's totally blushing.
And that's not a euphemism for anything.
No, it's literally.
You're actually literally feeling my beard. Hey, Karyn was feeling the beard, if you know what I mean. No, actually, just feeling the beard. Now I had a younger brother who was 6 years younger, and I used to pound on him.
Did you?
And then he ended up being substantially larger than me. But it was great because, like, around the time when it became obvious that he was going to be larger than me, so when I was like 20 and he was 14, I got to be like, come on, grow up, man.
Right.
Come on, we don't settle our differences this way. Come on, let's talk it out.
Meanwhile, you have 2 twin boys who I mean, you say they already beat each other up all the time. They're already wrestling all the time.
They're getting a little bit better, but
are they?
Yeah, no, I told you, I think I might have said, but like one time we were in the park and they just kept going at it.
Right.
So I finally stopped and said, all right, you two fight.
For reals.
And they're like, what? And I go, I got $1 for the one who hits the other one in the face. And they were like, what? I go, come on, you've been wanting to fight all day.
Right.
Let's get it over with.
Let's go.
And they didn't want to do it. So I thought, like, I walked away going, like, I should write a parenting book. Man, I'm that good.
Dad of the year.
A week later, I did it again. We were at the Viper Room. My wife was putting on a show, so we're out of the Viper Room. I take him out to the landing. I go, all right, you two fight. They went at it, and it was like a cage match. Finally, after like 5 minutes, I had to break him up. And I was like, we're not going to tell Mom about anything.
No. And I remember, who was it, Charlie's face was all scratched up or whatever? I actually remember that.
My kids have two, like, they're either like an old persnickety gay couple just constantly like bickering back and forth, or they're like 2 enemy soldiers who found each other in the same foxhole. They're like, you know, and it can be, you know, you're like, you know, and then you come and go, what are you guys fighting about? He's got my pencil. Really?
Yeah.
So you were like eye gouging him because he's got your pencil. That's
times are hard. Well, you know what? Yeah, it's rough. I don't know if you guys know. We have this round 5, this old clay Guida done. We were actually
want an action.
I know, wouldn't that be cool? We were matching up. His tattoos actually match up pretty well. And listen, folks, we actually are hoping to do. Clay and I were talking about doing some more things to have him sort of part of the podcast a little bit more, which I think would be a lot of fun. And as I said, I sat down with Clay. And talked for almost a half hour. You know, we talked about his fights. We talked about, you know, some of his favorite ones that he's had in the past. We talked about why, you know, he has such a love for wrestling. We talked about sort of old school versus new school fighters. We talked about whether or not you know, the guys at UFC wanted him to braid his hair during fights. All kinds of stuff. He's a real good guy. So we have that up. Either you go to our Facebook page, our MMA Heat Facebook page, or our or YouTube /Karyn Bryant. So.
Very cool.
Yeah,
now,
very cool.
I gotta say, so last week we got like 25,000 hits telling Chris Weidman telling us about taking a dump in a trash can.
Yes, the greatest first date story ever told.
I guess I kind of feel like a real journalist. I believe we broke that story. I believe we broke that story.
Yeah.
In fact, for cutting edge excrement stories, like that could be our niche.
Pete, I did.
Ronda Rousey, if you have any story about you blowing your nose or any fluid leaving your body, contact us. We're going to handle it well for you.
I did get the scoop on that poop. Ladies and gentlemen, that joke was free. Hey-oh.
Now,
round 5.
I believe we have something even better. Didn't you get an exclusive interview with the trash can that, with Chris Weidman's in-laws trash can?
I did indeed, and we're going to feature it right now in High Five. It is round 5, which of course is High Five, and as Pete mentioned, I did get an exclusive. We really broke a story here on the MMA Heat podcast with Chris Weidman, talking about the worst first date ever, where he, long story short, if you haven't seen it, go back to podcast number 39 and see Chris tell the story of, let's just say, some extreme movement and a lack of a toilet. Chris had to evacuate into a trash can, and breaking more stories, breaking new ground in MMA journalism. I now bring you my exclusive interview with the toilet from Chris Weidman's first date. Mr. Toilet, great to have you here.
How you doing, Karyn? Great to be here.
Great. So, really, it's been a big week for you in this last week. Your star really is starting to shine. People beforehand really didn't know about you.
Oh, what are you kidding me? It's awesome. I'm probably the first trash can to have his own Instagram account.
It's fantastic. So take me back to that day. As we know, Chris Weidman is the UFC middleweight champion. What are your thoughts on that day? Did you expect this to happen?
Well, no, and you have to understand that back then he wasn't a middleweight champion. He was just a guy who was trying to, you know, get with the daughter of the house, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
So, you know, I wasn't particularly thrilled at the time to have a guy stick his ass in my top of my head. You know, and after it happened, of course, the other furniture, they made fun of me, you know, the bureau, even the bed sheets. His in-laws' bed sheets made fun of me. Do you know the stuff that happens on them? So, you know, I took a lot of grief, Karyn, but the day he became a middleweight champ of the world, well, hey, you know, what can I say? I'm doing pretty well. What can I say?
Yeah, so what amazed me about this was you look to be about a 3-gallon or so. He said that he actually filled you to capacity and there was some spillover. So to me, that's quite impressive, actually.
Well, what Chris failed to mention is there was other stuff in me at the time. You know,
Gotcha.
There were a couple magazines and stuff, but I'm not gonna lie, it was. He's got quite a pooper on him, Karyn.
Does he? Yes, from your perspective, I mean, a lot of women think he's kind of hot. I mean, Chris has a very strong female fan base. Do you think that were he to, you know, not be with this lovely wife that he is with, does Chris have what it takes to be a real player out in the open market?
Well, listen, Karyn, as you know, I'm a trash can, so I'm, you know, I like ottomans and other furniture. But I will tell you one thing, for you kids out there, Chris Weidman's shit smells just as bad as yours. Okay, his shit does smell. So,
My God.
You know, for any of you kids who are like 14 going, how can I be Chris Weidman? You know, listen, he's just human, okay?
He's human. I do also wonder, because we hear so much about good nutrition. And as you said, this was not Chris Weidman champion at the time. This was a champion in the making. Does he eat well? Did he eat well?
Yeah, there was corn, Karyn, that's what you're asking.
There's always
there was corn,
Mr. Trash Can. And do you prefer Mr. Trash Can? I don't know exactly how I am supposed to.
It's Dr. Trash Can.
Dr. Trash Can. Doctor of...
I didn't go to damn trash can grad school for 3 years to be called Mr. Trash Can.
Doctor of...
Doctor of Trashology.
Trashology? Yes, I was thinking custodial arts.
Doctor of custodial
would be... so where do you go from there? I feel... Oh, yeah, sure. Well, go help yourself. You know, go help yourself, sir. It's our 40th show.
Yeah, don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
God, I tell you, I've been coked up all week. I've been on the Hollywood party circuit.
Well, sure. I mean, you're literally the most in-demand A-list guy there has been this past week.
I could tell you stuff that Charlie Sheen's done to me that would blow you away. I didn't even think I could. I don't know where. I mean, that guy has like 8 orifices, you know, and they all leak.
Sir, do you have a view on Chris's upcoming fight? I know you guys go way back. He's got a fight with Vitor Belfort coming up at UFC 187. So how do you think he'll do?
I think Chris is going to do well. You know, listen, you know, I can only give you advice from the guy's ass, but it's a nice ass, and you know, listen,
strong.
The woman married him after he took a dump in me.
Yes.
I mean,
does that amaze you at all? Because I gotta be honest, if a prospective date of mine had done that, I might have been a little horrified.
Well, Karyn, I'm a trash can. I really can't give people too much advice of culture and things like that. So. Generally, I'm probably not the person to ask, okay?
Well, sir, Doctor, it has been a real pleasure having you on. Best of luck to you, and have a great day.
And remember to check out my Instagram feed. $5 Tar.
Wow. So there you have it, folks. My exclusive interview with Chris Weidman's Trash Can. I don't know where Pete went for high five. I guess he maybe needed to take a bathroom break himself, but hopefully he should be back just to sort of...
Hey, are we going to do high five?
I just did high five.
Did I miss the Trash Can?
Yes, you didn't. Dude, I booked him last week. I booked this last week.
Me and the Trash Can are never in the room at the same time.
I don't... What the heck? Dude, it's our 40th show. I told people I booked a big guest for our 40th show.
And the Trash Can was their big guest. Man, we're really doing badly. We are really doing badly.
Podcast number 40 featuring the Trash Can and Clay Guida. What is it? Spinal Tap? What is Puppet Show and Spinal Tap? Come on, Spinal Tap is the greatest movie. And remember, they get there, and they go to play at the amusement park, and it says Puppet Show and Spinal Tap. And then they get there, and she's like, I told him once, I told him 1,000 times, it's Spinal Tap and then the Puppet Show. You know what I mean? That's great. Talking Trash Can, 40s, and Clay Guida, veteran of the UFC, who's been fighting for years and who has accomplished way more than, you know.
Either of us?
I don't know. I'm doing okay. I'm not boasting, but I think I'm doing okay.
I think I can officially say Clay accomplished more than I have.
Pete, you enjoying that High Life?
I am.
I don't think I've had a Miller High Life ever. Have I?
It's very old school beer. I remember like in the 70s. You know?
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something that like you would have boosted from your parents. Like if they were having a party when you were a kid, you would have boosted one of those.
Yeah, I remember my stepdad drinking this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then cracking the bottle and going, Pete, you son of a bitch.
Get in the shed, boy. Choose your favorite bottle, bring it, give it to me. Get ready for some discipline.
Wow.
I gotta say, someone's a nurse in there.
Yeah. Me? Well, dude,
look at that, man. You started off like so badass, and then of course.
I think Old English is stronger, though. I one time when I lived in New York, I had a blaxploitation. I had a party, and all I served was like OE, St. Ides, Colt 45, and stuff. People got messed up. Nice. It was fun. We might have to have an MMA OG party at some point. It'd be fun. It'd be really fun. So, as I mentioned, long interview with Clay Guida coming up. I am going to be talking to Patrick Cote tomorrow, who is on UFC 186. As we know, the UFC 186 card it's had some ups and downs. But Patrick is on it. He is Canadian. Great guy, you know. He actually does. People don't know this, or maybe they do. He calls the fights in French for the UFC. He's French Canadian, and so he's classy, is what I'm trying to say. It's gonna be a classy interview. I'm not gonna be drinking Old English while I'm talking to Cote.
Now what?
How you doing?
Now what? Just because he speaks French, he's classy. You know, you American girls, you throw a French accent on, and all of a sudden you're. Well, you know, in Europe, when I was there this summer.
Oh yeah, when I took my when I went backpacking after college, right? Yeah,
yes.
which I didn't do.
You American guys are so immature.
You are. Oh, Miss says the man who just played a trash can.
What? Don't break the fourth wall. They had no idea.
Anyway.
They're like, what? I had the glasses. They couldn't even tell.
Okay, Clark Kent, curling the head. It's Clark.
That was his superhero costume.
So yes, I'm doing my best, Phoenix Jones. To bring it back, you saw how I did that. Anyway, Patrick, going to try to line up some other stuff as well. We don't have a UFC tonight this week, but we'll be back next week. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, tomorrow we're supposed to go down. I'm going to check that he's back. Probably going to go shoot some stuff with Michael Bisping as well, who is also on that card. Lovely guy.
Cool.
Yeah. People love to dislike Michael, and I hate to spoil it, but he's a terrific guy. I mean, he's a
now
total...
why do people like
Well, when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, when he coached against Dan Henderson, he was a bit of a British pill.
Right.
He can be. Listen, he loves to take the piss in their vernacular, take the piss out of people. He really doesn't care who he pisses off, which is why I love the guy, you know what I mean? But he actually has a fantastic sense of humor. Really great guy. So supposedly, tomorrow I got to double check with him. We should be going down to Rain to catch up with him. So it'll be good.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, Pete. So thank you, folks. Listen, as I said, it is our 40th show. And we want to thank you for checking out all the ones that you have to date. And, you know, you can always go back, look at MMAHeat.com/podcast if you want the audio version, iTunes and Stitcher, rather. Links there. Go to YouTube/Karyn Bryant or Facebook MMA Heat to find all our stuff there, you know.
Oh, yeah, and for the people who were listening to it on audio, or are, you got to watch that one on YouTube with the trash can.
Oh, the trash can, yeah, you're going to have to go back and listen to that.
You
because
won't sorry. I forget that we we have a lot of audio.
No, they can still hear you. And he was a trash can.
Right,
I mean, there was a trash can here, so it was good. Pete, it's been fun. These 40 have been fun.
Cheers.
Wade,
Cheers.
It's been a good time. Folks, thanks for enjoying the show with us, and we'll see you next time.